Have you ever found yourself in a negative space, a negative mindset, and maybe you're not sure how you even got there, why you feel that way, but it's something that you just can't shake? This happens a lot. I talk to a lot of men who experience this, and one thing that I do know for sure is that you must challenge it. Why do I say challenge it? It's because your initial thoughts, the thoughts that you're having in your mind, may not be the only way to view a situation. We must challenge our negative thinking. So there's a couple of things that we need to be aware of. One, it can be difficult to see the flaws in our logic sometimes. Sometimes we need a different perspective. And number two, sometimes long held beliefs, things that we've believed in for a long time, it's kind of hard to get past that. These thoughts and these beliefs that we have, they can begin to feel like facts. There's a difference between thoughts and beliefs, but they begin to feel like facts, even if they're only opinions. So we should look for the pattern behind our negative thinking. So here are 6 patterns that we should be on the lookout for. Number 1, all or nothing thinking. Now, this is where we look at something either good or bad. There's no in between. It's either all good or it's all bad. So if it's not all good, it's nothing. It's all bad. That's where we say all or nothing. An example might be, if I don't succeed in this particular task, that means I'm a failure. You would be amazed at how many conversations I have where these logic trails are. We follow these logic trails and we assume that it has to be all or it's nothing. So that's pattern number 1, all or nothing thinking. Life's not black and white. There's a whole bunch of shades of gray. So number 2, mental filtering. So what this means is that you focus on the negative. Now this can be dealing with a person, it can be dealing with a situation, but we focus on the negative and we filter out all the positive. So an example of that would be, like, say you're at your job and there's a task that you can't complete, or you didn't complete, or you didn't do well. So you assume that everyone around you is going to think that you're not up for the job because you filtered out all the positive things you've done. You might have did 99 things very, very well, but you're so focused on that one thing that you didn't do well that you develop this negative view, this negative perception. You don't know what everybody else is thinking, but this is what's going on in your mind. You're focusing on the negative and you're filtering out the positive. Number 3, converting positives into negatives. Now, this is a little bit different than mental filtering. In mental filtering, we focus on the negative and we filter out the positive. In this scenario here, we actually convert the positives into negatives. So not just filtering out, but just literally converting it, rejecting it, saying, well, that doesn't count. For example, you took a test. You did great on the test, right? Got an excellent grade. And that's a positive thing. But in your mind, what you do is you convert that into a negative and you say something like, well, I only got a good grade on the test because it was so easy. Now, it might have been easy. It might have been easy because you studied, you read, you learned the material, you knew what you were talking about. There's a number of things that could have made it easy for you, and you might have put forth some hard work and some hard effort. But instead of appreciating that, appreciating yourself from that, you take this positive experience of the good grade, turn it into something negative, and you say, well, it was just an easy test. Number 4, jumping to negative conclusions. Now, in this pattern, you reach negative conclusions with little or no evidence. Right? You don't really know much about it or have much information, but somehow you arrive at a negative conclusion. Here's a good example. You send a text message. You don't get an immediate reply. So you just assume that whoever you texted didn't want to talk to you. This is one thing, a side note here, this is one of the things that irritates me to no end. When somebody can send you a text message, I receive a text message, and then that person has a conversation with themselves to conclusion, right? And they're angry at me. They're mad at me. And I never even saw the text. By the time I saw the first text, They had gone through an entire conversation and got upset, pissed herself off. It's amazing to me how that happens, but it happens all the time. It's a really common thing. So you jump to a negative conclusion due to a lack of information, right? You just assume the negative. Do you do that, or do you know someone who does that? Does that situation that I just recalled, does that sound familiar to you? If it does, let me know down in the comment section below. Number 5, mistaking feelings for facts. So this is another common pattern. So when somebody who mistakes their feelings for the facts. So like if I feel like a failure, then I must be a failure. This is one of the things that concerns me, and I see it a lot with a lot of younger people. When you ask a question, you ask somebody what they think about something. A lot of times they'll start with "I feel like," and for me that raises alarms for me. I didn't ask you what you felt like. I asked you what you thought, and there's a difference between thinking and feeling. But that's a very common pattern. People mistake their feelings for the facts. And number 6 and final, negative self-talk. In short, you consistently undervalue yourself. And I alluded to this in another video. You have to watch what you say, right? Because in order for you to say that, in order for you to talk that, you have to think it first. It starts in your imagination. So it's generated there as a thought. Thoughts are things. It becomes real. You speak it. And as I alluded to in the other video, it's literally like casting a spell on yourself. It's literally like cursing yourself. Now, sometimes we put ourselves down in jokes, in jest. Oh, I was just playing. But were you really just playing? Or do you really feel that way about yourself? I mean, if you didn't, you probably wouldn't say that, right? So, quick, fast, in a hurry. 6 patterns to look for to challenge negative thinking. Are any of these things that you do? Or do you know people who do this? I look forward to your answer to that question. Let me know in the comment section below. Take care. Peace.